fighters, bombers, helicopters, drones, and machines that carry the weight of history in their wings. This is not just a list of aircraft. This is a living story of survival, ambition, fear, sacrifice, and absolute dominance. The story of how American air power was born, how it grew through fire, and how it now shapes the future of warfare. Beginning in an era when aviation was still fragile and uncertain, when the sky itself was an unexplored battlefield, starting with the P-26 P-WWII, America's first orbital monoplane fighter, awkward in appearance, lightly armed, and primitive by modern standards, yet revolutionary for its time. The machine that marked the first step away from fabric and wood and toward metal and speed, paving the road for legends yet to come. Followed soon after by the P-40 Warhawk, immortalized by the shark-toothed noses of the Flying Tigers, flown by volunteer pilots over China who faced overwhelming odds and proved that courage, discipline, and smart tactics could challenge even the feared Japanese Zero, sending a message to the world that American pilots would not back down. Then came the strange and unconventional P-39 Airacobra, a fighter that broke design rules with its engine mounted behind the pilot, driving a propeller through a long shaft, allowing a massive 37mm cannon to fire directly through the nose, turning it into a flying tank destroyer, deadly at low altitude and terrifying to anything caught in its sights, leading into the arrival of the P-51 Mustang, a machine so perfectly balanced it became poetry in motion, fast, sleek, and brutally efficient, the Cadillac of the skies, the fighter that finally gave Allied bombers the range they desperately needed, escorting them all the way to Berlin and back, breaking the Luftwaffe not through spectacle but through relentless pressure and precision, flying alongside the P-47 Thunderbolt, the Jug, a massive beast of a fighter, heavy, loud, and incredibly tough, armed with 8.50 caliber machine guns and capable of absorbing unbelievable damage, bringing pilots home with wings and engines smoking, while the twin-engine P-38 Lightning carved its own legend as the fork-tailed devil, feared by enemies and beloved by aces, dominating the vast distances of the Pacific with its speed, firepower, and reliability, soon joined by the brutal elegance of the F-4U Corsair, its inverted gull wings and massive engine giving it unmatched speed and climb, earning the name Whistling Death from terrified ground troops as it screamed down from the sky, followed closely by the F-6F Hellcat, rugged, simple, and purpose-built to destroy the Zero, an aircraft that quietly became one of the most effective fighters in history, responsible for nearly 75% of all American aerial victories in the Pacific, while the P-61 Black Widow stalked the night skies as the first U.S. aircraft designed specifically for nocturnal combat, using early radar to hunt unseen enemies in total darkness, proving that the war never slept. Then came the heavy hitters, the bombers and transports that carried the true weight of war, led by the B-17 Flying Fortress, a symbol of American resilience, flying through walls of flak of Europe, absorbing catastrophic damage, yet still limping home with crews alive, becoming legends not because they were invincible, but because they endured, was joined by the B-2 for Liberator, faster, longer-ranged, and produced in greater numbers than any American military aircraft before or since, forming the backbone of strategic bombing, while the B-25 Mitchell earned immortality during the Doolittle Raid, launching from aircraft carriers in an act of pure audacity to strike Tokyo itself, proving that the enemy was never beyond reach, followed by the A-26 Invader, so effective and adaptable that it served across 3 wars, and the B-29 Super, the most technologically advanced and expensive aircraft of World War II, pressurized, high-flying, and capable of delivering unprecedented destruction, forever changing history as the only aircraft to deploy atomic weapons in combat, while beneath all of this thunder flew the C-47 Skytrain, the unsung hero, dropping paratroopers into Normandy under fire and keeping Allied armies supplied across continents, proving that wars are won not only by firepower, but by logistics and endurance. Then the world crossed the threshold into the jet age, shattering old limitations as the Bell X-1, a rocket plane shaped like a bullet, carried Chuck Yeager beyond the sound barrier for the first time, opening a new chapter of speed and possibility. Quickly followed by the P-80 Shooting Star, America's first operational jet fighter, ushering the U.S. Air Force into a new era, and the legendary F-86 Sabre, the MiG killer of Korea, dancing through the skies of MiG Alley and establishing dominance with superior tactics and pilot skill. While the F-8 for Thunderjet pounded ground targets relentlessly, the F-9F Panther proved that jets could operate successfully from carriers, and the F-8 to twin Mustang, two P-51 fuselages fused into one long-range escort and night fighter, became the final piston-engine fighter to see combat, marking the end of an era as the Cold War ignited a relentless race for speed, altitude, and nuclear deterrence, giving birth to the Century series, beginning with the F-100 Super Sabre, the first American fighter capable of sustained supersonic flight in level air, followed by the F-101 Voodoo, originally designed as a bomber escort before finding its true calling as a high-speed reconnaissance predator, flying low and fast to steal secrets, while the F-102 Delta Dagger introduced the Delta Wing and missile-centric interception, built for one purpose alone, to shoot down Soviet bombers before they could reach American cities, alongside the unforgiving F-104 Starfighter, a missile with a man inside, blisteringly fast, yet deadly to inexperienced pilots, a massive Thunderchef, designed as a nuclear strike aircraft, but forced to fly deep into Vietnam's lethal air defenses, absorbing horrific losses while still delivering its payload. The F-106 Delta Dart standing silent guard over American airspace for decades as the ultimate interceptor, and the F-89 Scorpion, armed with nuclear-tipped air-to-air rockets, designed to erase entire bomber formations in a single, terrifying shot. While naval aviation in Vietnam forged their own legends with the A-1 Skyraider, a propeller aircraft that refused to die, flying low and slow to protect troops on the ground, sometimes carrying absurd payloads just to prove it could, followed by the nimble A-4 Skyhawk, small, cheap, and deadly, capable of carrying bomb loads once reserved for World War II heavy bombers. The A-6 Intruder delivering destruction in pitch, night and all weather, the A-7 Corsair to introducing early digital bombing accuracy, the F-8 Crusader earning the title of last gunfighter by relying on cannons when others trusted missiles, and the F-4 Phantom II, ugly, loud, and immensely powerful, serving the Air Force, Navy, and Marines simultaneously, proving that brute force and adaptability could triumph over elegance, accompanied by the A-5 Vigilante, a bomber that failed its original mission, yet evolved into the largest and fastest carrier-based reconnaissance aircraft ever built, while rotary wing aircraft became angels and demons on the battlefield, beginning with the UH-1 Huey, its unmistakable sound becoming the soundtrack of Vietnam, revolutionizing warfare by creating air cavalry, protected by the AH-1 Cobra, the world's first dedicated attack helicopter, sleek and deadly, joined by the tiny OH-6 Little Bird, fast, agile, and lethal in the hands of special forces, the CH-47 Chinook, lifting artillery and troops over mountains and jungles, the massive CH-53 Stallion serving as the Marine Corps heavy lift king, the AH-64 Apache redefining attack helicopters with Hellfire missiles and helmet-slave cannons, the UH-60 Blackhawk becoming the backbone of modern armies, and the V-22 Osprey challenging aviation itself by blending aeroplane speed with helicopter flexibility, while strategic bombers and spy planes extended American reach across the globe with the enormous B-36 Peacemaker, the largest combat aircraft ever built, the sleek B-47 Stratojet defining the look of modern jet aircraft, the ageless B-52 Stratofortress flying for generations and still relevant, the futuristic B-58 Hustler becoming the world's first supersonic bomber, and the U-2 Dragon Lady flying at the edge of space to gather intelligence where no other aircraft could survive, followed by the era of absolute dominance with the Teen series, where the F-14 Tomcat defended carrier fleets and became a cultural icon. The F-15 Eagle achieved an unmatched combat record with over 100 confirmed kills and 0 losses. The agile F-16 Fighting Falcon served across the world in countless air forces. The F-A-18 Hornet and Super Hornet replaced entire generations of carrier aircraft with reliability and versatility. The EA-18G Growler fought invisible wars by blinding enemy sensors and communications. The AV-8B Harrier amazed the world with vertical takeoffs in forward combat zones. and the T-38 Talon quietly trained every Air Force, ace, and NASA astronaut for over half a century, all supported by the often overlooked giants of logistics, such as the C-130 Hercules landing almost anywhere on Earth, the AC-130 turning transport aircraft into nighttime predators, the C-17 Globemaster III, delivering tanks and troops worldwide, the colossal C-5 Galaxies swallowing other aircraft whole, the E-3 AWACS and E-2 Hawkeye commanding battles from above, the S-3 Viking hunting submarines beneath the waves, and the P-3 Orion patrolling oceans for days without rest before stealth transform warfare forever, with the A-10 Warthog built around a gun and designed to survive hell itself, the swing-wing F-111 Aardvark pioneering low-level precision strike, the F-117 Nighthawk becoming the world's first operational stealth aircraft in dismantling enemy defenses without being seen, the supersonic B-1B Lancer delivering massive payloads at incredible speed, the near-mythical B-2 Spirit penetrating any airspace unseen at a cost measured in billions, the F-22 Raptor reigning as the apex predator of the skies with stealth, supercruise and thrust vectoring so advanced it was banned from export, the F-35 Lightning to acting less like a fighter and more like a flying supercomputer connecting every asset on the battlefield, unmanned systems like the MQ-1 Predator and MQ-9 Reaper redefining warfare by removing the pilot from the cockpit, the experimental legends like the X-15 pushing humanity to the edge of space at Mach 6.7, and finally the future itself emerging from secrecy, with the B-21 Raider entering service as the next generation of stealth bombing, and the classified Next Generation Air Dominance program hinting at a sixth-generation fighter with lasers, artificial intelligence, and autonomous drone wingman, proving that this story is far from over, because this is not just aviation history. This is human ambition carved into metal and fire, a story of fear and courage, innovation and sacrifice, a story written in contrails across the sky, and this, in all its power and consequence, is the arsenal of democracy.